Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dennis, Bill, everyone here at the space. It's been amazing getting to work here. We got here on Wednesday and started working really hard, and it's just been a fun and relaxed and welcoming environment. So I want to extend my gratitude for that. And I also want to say some thank yous to, of course, as Dennis mentioned, my cousin Patricia, or as I call her, Patti. She's been instrumental in the last week of production of this exhibition and helping me install and tonight documenting it. So huge thank you to you for that. I couldn't have done it without you. um, and then, of course, thank you all to come for coming. And there's some amazing special people who came from Austin here. So I have Jaime and Robert, who are also members of an art collective that we have together called Los Outsiders. And where's Lauda and Ondine came down from UT. So I appreciate that as well. It's always nice to have familiar faces in the audience. So thank you. So this exhibition, which is Radical Synergies, is about the different things that we take in and out through our eyes and our ears and just our experiences in the world and how we kind of put them together and we stitch them to make meaning out of what's happening around us. I really kind of started delving into that in the last exhibition I had in Austin, and I've kind of expanded it here to where it's a little more, a subconscious kind of collaboration with the world around me through texts, through objects, through experiences with people, and so um, it all coalesced really. And I was telling someone earlier during an acupuncture session that I was having a neck issue, and I don't know how many of you have had acupuncture before, but there's a state you kind of where you're starting to kind of doze off and you're kind of in this relaxed, but you're also awake. So it's kind of this nether space. And in that moment, I literally just saw these pieces kind of materialize around the room around me, with the exception of that one, which is an older piece. But yeah, they just sort of started coming to me. And so as soon as I left that session, I went and started writing everything down and doing some sketches. And slowly I was seeing how things were being affected by that I was taking in subconsciously, right? And then today I'm going to be doing a performance later, and part of that is a spoken word poem, and that was very much influenced by my time here in Galveston this week. Um, I was sitting on the deck of the hotel I'm at, looking into the Gulf of Mexico, and and just these words started flowing out, and it just so again, just kind of keeping that in mind and maybe extending that to others as an invitation to like think about what you're taking in and how it's affecting you and changing you as a person. So that's it in a nutshell, sort of. Sure. So that one's kind of an extension of those two pieces in the back, and I have a series of them that are like that, where I was going around because Austin's growing very rapidly, and you see buildings popping up like overnight, and just like these wooden structures, just like out of nowhere, and a lot of times they're being built by uh, immigrants who will never be able to afford to live in those spaces. And so, in those, it was my way of kind of inserting them into the structure itself by using textiles that are native to where they possibly come from. And then this one was sort of taking it to the next level of where it's the ties, and so like pushing into like quote unquote leadership positions, as that ties can often be a symbol of, and who knows where the future will lead us. So that's why it's kind of laid out in kind of this outer space kind of futuristic take of that idea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great question. Thank you. I just feel like right now all the ideas that I've lived with my whole life are being seen as radical by some, and I'm pulling them all together. There's obviously like pulls to like history, so like Wonder Woman, watching that as a kid growing up, um, and all these things that's like synergizing, bringing them together, and I am a product of that. I am the radical synergy, if you will, of my ideas and my experiences.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. I went to grad school kind of late, some 20-something years after undergrad. And I was just kind of looking for an expansion of my work. I feel like everything I was making, the input I was getting was usually at art openings, and people aren't generally going to critique you and read you for filth, about your work or give you like critical input, right? And so I went, and then one of the things that I wanted to explore, which is what I originally went to undergrad for, is in my writing. And so I took a course with Pamela Sneed, who's an esteemed, incredible writer, and she changed my life. I felt like I had permission to call myself a writer again. She was very supportive and yeah, she would just gave me all the flowers all the time and was just like, she's like, when is your book coming out? When's your book coming out? And so that's segued itself into my physical artwork now as well. And yeah, because there's a lot of times, one of the big questions I had in grad school was, I'm making references in my work that aren't often going to be understood by a lot of people. So I have like one video that uses a commercial. It's a Mexican commercial that played when I was a kid in the early 80s. And no one's going to really know what that context is, that I was experiencing that. And so I was always in grad school asking, like, well, how do I get this across? Is it always going to be some kind of museum text on the wall, or like, do I have to like explain it to everyone? And so I found like a way to kind of avert that was to do my own sort of wall text, but also have that be abstracted as well through poetry. So it's not, it hits you on the head like, this is what this is about. Just because it gives more context, I would say. Yeah. I feel like I've known you all my life. We are in a grayer era, somehow surviving the fog, that gas yearning to solidify, to become a barrier, marginalize, materialize into an object seducing us to take it more seriously. But I need us to gather, like animals do. Only when they're dying do they vanish into the forest to hide away, as if death was something shameful. And only in separation are we animals most vulnerable. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.